It's 40,000 BC. You're sitting close to a fire, the way humans have every night for longer than anyone can remember. The wind shifts. A thick cloud of smoke rolls straight into your face. And this time, the wood wasn't the only thing burning. There was a plant in there too. You breathe it in, and a few minutes later, for no reason you can understand, you feel wonderful. You have no word for what just happened. But you will spend the rest of your life trying to feel it again. This is the story of how humans first got high, not in a modern lab, not with anything you'd recognize. The very first time a human changed what was happening inside their own mind, and why that urge might be one of the oldest things about us. Quick note before we go further. This is a history video, not a how-to. Many of the plants in this story are poisonous, and ancient people died learning which were which. We're here for the anthropology, not the instructions. So let's start with the fire. Because before anything else, there was smoke. Humans have controlled fire for hundreds of thousands of years. And for every one of those years, every person who sat near a flame breathed smoke. Constantly, unavoidably. It was the original air you couldn't escape. Most of it was just burning wood. But sometimes, depending on what was growing nearby and what got tossed on the flames, that smoke carried something else. Compounds from certain plants that drift into the brain and quietly flip a switch. Here's the strange part. Your brain has receptors that respond to some of those plant compounds. They didn't evolve because of the plants. They're part of a system that runs your mood, your memory, your appetite. But it means that when an ancient human first breathed in the right smoke, their brain didn't get confused. It lit up, almost as if the body had been waiting for it. And that's the whole secret. The high wasn't invented. It was discovered, over and over, by accident, by people who had no idea why a certain smoke or a certain berry made the world feel softer and stranger and better. Take fruit. Leave fruit to sit and it ferments. It turns, very slightly, into alcohol. Animals know this. Reindeer in Siberia seek out mushrooms to get visibly intoxicated. Elephants and monkeys have been seen gorging on overripe fermented fruit and stumbling around afterward. Some scientists think our own taste for alcohol goes back millions of years, to tree-dwelling ancestors who learned that the smell of fermenting fruit meant calories, and a pleasant buzz came free with the meal. In other words, the desire to feel different may be older than humanity itself. A scientist named Ronald Siegel argued exactly that the urge to alter your own mind is a fourth drive, sitting right alongside hunger, thirst, and the drive to reproduce. Not a flaw, not a modern weakness. A built-in part of being an animal with a complicated brain. And once humans realized they could choose this feeling, everything changed. They didn't treat it casually. Across nearly every ancient culture we know of, altering the mind became sacred. It was wrapped in ritual. It belonged to shamans and healers and ceremonies. A way to speak with the dead, to see the future, to bind a whole group together in one shared impossible experience. The smoke and the drink weren't entertainment. They were doorways. And you treated a doorway with respect. Then slowly, the sacred became forbidden. As empires and religions rose, these old practices were branded dangerous, primitive, evil, and the rituals were buried, hunted, erased. The doorway didn't close because people stopped wanting it. It closed because someone decided they shouldn't. So when did humans first get high? There's no date, no single moment. The behavior is older than farming, older than writing, older than every religion you've heard of. It may be as old as fire itself, maybe older, drifting all the way back to a hungry ancestor in a tree, eating fruit that had turned. For all the things that separate you from those people. The cities, the screens, the noise. This is one thin thread that runs unbroken through 100,000 years. The wanting, the reaching for something just past the edge of an ordinary mind. You come from a long, long line of people who looked at the world as it was and quietly wondered if it could feel like something more.